Hello everyone, welcome to the editorial analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy, 7th January. Displayed here are the list of articles that we will be discussing today. The first article, the Collegium and Changes, it still be early days. This article is taken from the newspaper The Hindu. In this article, we will be discussing the Collegium system, the evolution of the Collegium, and what are the concerns and what are the reforms that can be brought in the judiciary to ensure accountability and better transparency. And the second article, a stronger stem. The article is taken from the newspaper Indian Express. So followed by the implementation of 20% supernumerary quota, there's a significant increase in the female student enrollment in the STEM fields. STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which plays an important role in the development of modern societies. And India, in the last 5 years, has witnessed a significant increase in the female enrollment. So in this topic, we will be discussing the STEM, its importance, what are the challenges, and what are the measures that can be taken to make the program sustainable for a very long time. And without much delay, let's get into the editorial discussion. The Collegium and Changes, it may still be early days. The article is taken from the newspaper The Hindu. We know that India is land for 1.4 billion people, but for the last 78 years, it wasn't difficult for India to ensure social justice and social harmony because the nation is guided by the mother law, that is the Constitution of India, and we have an independent and integrated judicial system to safeguard the Indian Constitution. We know the Supreme Court of India, mentioned in part 5 of the Indian Constitution, is known as the custodian of the Indian Constitution, and then we have high courts mentioned in the part 6 of the Indian Constitution, right? But the judicial system has its own sets of challenges. Generally, we can say lack of infrastructure, or delayed justice, or pending of cases. But apart from all this, we have a major challenge, we have a major controversy regarding the Indian judiciary, that is the collegium system, or indirectly we can say the appointment of the judges in the higher judicial positions, right? So in this article, it is talking about the recent initiatives taken by the collegium in the Supreme Court regarding the elevation or the promotion of candidates in the high courts. Hereafter, interviews will be conducted, and the interviewing panel will also make sure that there is no favoritism. That means if there is any relative of if there is any known ones of the candidates in the interviewing panel, definitely that panel member will be removed from that particular interview, and therefore we will ensure that there is no favoritism and nepotism in the selection process. But still there are a lot of concerns. So let us discuss more about the article from UPSC mains point of view. So in the beginning, I mentioned collegium system. What is this collegium system? We can say it is a practice, or it is a system or a mechanism for appointment or transfer of judges in higher judiciary where it is decided. So in the beginning, I mentioned about the collegium system, right? So we can say that collegium system is a practice or a mechanism for the appointments and transfer of judges in the higher judiciary where the decision is taken by a forum. And this collegium consists of Chief Justice of India and 4 senior most Supreme Court judges. And the origin or the development of this collegium can be traced back to the judges cases of since 1980s. But what was the system that we followed in India before 1980s? So we know that from 1950 to 1974, the practice of appointing the Chief Justice was appointing the senior most judge in the court. But in the year 1973, during the time of the Indira Gandhi government, A.N. Roy was appointed as the Chief Justice of India, superseding 3 senior most judges. And this raised a lot of questions regarding the appointment of the Chief Justice of India. And after emergency, that is in the year 1977, M.U. Beck was appointed as the Chief Justice of India, superseding his senior. So again, this matter became a matter of controversy, and a lot of questions raised regarding the appointment of the Chief Justice of India. And as a result, in the first judges case of 1981, the Supreme Court held that the president, we know that the president will be appointing the Chief Justice of India, and he will be appointing the Chief Justice of India based on after consulting the senior most judges in the Supreme Court, and if it is necessary, he can also consult the judges in the High Court. But the question was regarding the consultation. Was the consultation was the advice is binding on the president, or president is independent in appointing the chief justice of India. In the first case, in the first judge's case, the Supreme Court held that the consultation does not mean concurrence. Therefore, it is only meaning, its only means is to, it is only, it does not mean concurrence. It is only, in a practice of exchanging views. Therefore, the president has a right to the advice of the judges are not binding on the president. This was the stand or the verdict of the Supreme Court in the first judge's case in the year 1981. But again in the year 1993, the verdict was entirely different. Therefore, the Supreme Court said that the president is the advice given by the Chief Justice of India regarding the appointment of the judges in the Supreme Court is binding on the president. It is binding on the president, but the Chief Justice of India can advise the president only after consulting two senior most judges in the Supreme Court. So this was the verdict in the second judge's case. In the third judge's case, the Supreme Court further strengthened its stand, and it said that the advice given by the Chief Justice of India or the judges to the president is binding. At the same time, regarding the appointment of the judges, the Chief Justice or the Chief Justice, regarding the appointment of the judges, then the Chief Justice has to consult a collegium of 4 senior most judges. And you have to note that out of this 4 senior most judges, if 2 senior most judges are against the opinion of the Chief Justice of India, then he should not recommend to the government. So this was the verdict in the third judge's case of 1998. Moving on, the issues with this collegium system, the first major issue is the lack of transparency. That is the style of opaque decision making process. We don't know what is happening within the collegium. Even the President of India or the government also has no idea what is happening, or what is the criteria for appointing the Chief Justice or the judges in the Supreme Court. So the lack of transparency is a first major problem. And the second major challenge is the subjectivity. That means the decisions sometimes will be influenced by the personal preferences of the judges. There is a possibility. And the next is no defined procedure. So this can lead to perceptions of arbitrariness. For example, like I mentioned in the beginning, we don't know what is the criteria for appointing the Chief Justice of India, or we don't know what is the criteria for selecting a person as the Chief Justice of India. So such things are there. So, and it is because of the lack of transparency. And then after the fourth judge's case of 2015, there is a strong call for the reforms within the collegium system. And we know that the Indian judiciary is standing based on the principle of independence. That means the legislation, or that means the legislator or the executive should not influence the procedure or the functions of the judiciary. And this matter again, and after 1 decade, the government in 2014 they brought NJAC, that is National Judicial Appointment Commission, through the 99th constitutional amendment in the year 2014, and that replaced the collegium system with the National Judicial Appointment Commission for better transparency and inclusivity. So if you take the composition of this National Judicial Appointment Commission, you can see that it consists of Chief Justice as the chairperson, and it also has 2 senior most judges and law minister, and 2 eminent personalities nominated by a committee consisting of Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India, and the leader of opposition. And out of this 2 eminent personalities, 1 personality should be representing a backward community, that can be ST, women, or other marginalized communities in India. But what was the verdict of the Supreme Court on this? The Supreme Court in the year 2015 struck down the NJAC, that is National Judicial Appointment Commission, citing that it is violating the basic principle of the Indian Constitution, that is the separation of power and the independence of the judiciary. Because we know that it has the presence of an executive, that is law minister. At the same time, the nominated members are nominated by a committee consisting of opposition leader and the Prime Minister of India. Therefore, they said that it is violating the basic judicial, the basic constitutional principles such as the independence of the judiciary, and therefore they also said that it is violating the basic structure doctrine. We know the basic structure doctrine was emphasized in the Keshavananda Bharati case of 1973. It is very important case. You can use this in various aspects. It will be very useful in mains answer writing. And what is meant by this separation of power? Because we know that you have to understand that is there is separation of power and there is a division of power. Division of power is a vertical aspect where the division of power is happening between the central government of the nation and the state governments or the provincial governments, while the separation of power is happening between the three organs of the government, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. For example, the functions of the legislature should not interfere with the executive, and at the same time, both the executive and the legislature should not interfere in the procedures and the functions of the judiciary. Therefore, this principle, that is the separation of power, ensures independent functioning of the government with the proper checks and balances. And as a result of this Supreme Court verdict in the year 2015, the collegium system once again reinstated with a strong call for reforms. And if you take the recent developments, like I mentioned in the beginning of this discussion, interviews will be conducted to assess the candidates, whether they are suitable for the criteria, and the interviewing panel will also, the collegium will also take proper steps to prevent nepotism or favoritism. Like I mentioned, if there is any relative or if there is any non-one of their candidates in the interviewing panel, then definitely that member will be temporarily removed from that interview. So such efforts are taking. And what is the significance of these reforms? It enhances diversity. We know that this reform can provide opportunity for the people from other communities or other areas to play an important role in the Indian judiciary. At the same time, it strengthens credibility. That means it builds trust in the public, because before in the collegium system, we don't know what was happening. Still, the collegium system is following the same practice only, but they are ready for a slow reform. So we can say that this will further strengthen. This will be a beginning of strengthening public trust in judiciary, and regarding the appointment of the judges. And finally, it also ensures judicial independence. For example, if you go with the National Judicial Appointment Commission, we can see the presence of executives. So they are saying that it is violating the basic principles of the constitution. So here there is no presence of executive, but this kind of reforms will ensure the independence of judiciary, and at the same time it makes the institution more accountable. And finally, it also importantly it brings trust in the public regarding the appointment of the judges. So in this article we discussed the collegium system, the challenges associated with the collegium system, and what are the reforms can be taken to enhance the transparency and efficiency. So based on this discussion, try to answer this mains practice question. The question is: critically examine the challenges in the collegium system and suggest reforms to enhance its transparency and efficiency. So this question has two parts. The first part is asking about the challenges related to the collegium system. We already discussed lack of criteria, lack of transparency, and at the same time the controversy regarding the between the judiciary and the executive. At the same time, the possibility of nepotism or favoritism, and the subjectivity, the problem of subjectivity. That means sometimes the appointments can be influenced by the personal decisions or opinions. So these are the challenges. These are the challenges associated with the collegium system, and that can be addressed in the first part of the question. And for the second part, you have to suggest the reforms to enhance the transparency and the efficiency. So just now we discussed the interview, the new initiatives such as bringing interview for the appointment of individuals or the candidates to the higher positions in the high courts and all. Eventually, we can expect this kind of reforms in the Supreme Court as well. So it will further strengthen the public trust regarding the appointment of the judges or candidates in the higher judicial position. And at the same time, it will also ensure accountability and enhances efficiency, because it will provide opportunity for people from other background to have a significant role in the Indian judiciary in various positions, right? So you can write the mains practice question based on this understanding, and it is a 15 marks question, and you have to write around 250 words. And in the introduction, you can talk about the significance of the Indian judiciary, the nature of the Indian judiciary, or what is the role of the Indian judiciary, like that. And in the conclusion, you can give a way forward. What are your opinions regarding the Indian judiciary? But at the same time, you should address the problem. At the same time, it should be optimistic. That means the UPSC will always expect optimism in the answers. So that will get you more marks. So So try to answer the question and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. A stronger stem. We all know Christine Lagarde, right? The former finance minister of France and the present head of the European Central Bank. In one of her essays, she told that there are 3 L's for women empowerment. First one is learning, second one is labor, and the third one is leadership. And in this context, we have a news article from the newspaper Indian Express, which is talking about India's achievement towards the first step, that is followed by the implementation of the supernumerary quota for women in the year 2018. The Indian education institutions, particularly the STEM institutions, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics field, has witnessed a significant female enrollment. For example, IIT Kanpur itself, in the year 2017, it had only 908 female students, but in the year 2024, it has more than 2000 female students. And other IITs also witnessed a significant increase in the female enrollment. For example, there is a 76.36% growth in the female enrollment between 2019 to 24 in the IITs of Chennai, Mumbai, Guwahati, and Gorakhpur. Similarly, in the medicine institutions also, for every 100 men, there are 100 women enrolled in the Indian medicine institutions between 2020-21. So these are the significant achievements that we have made towards the first step. But at the same time, we also have certain challenges. For example, we have to address the gender gap still in the technical education. At the same time, we have to make sure that the enrolled female students are getting employed, because that is a second stage for women empowerment. Then only they can test their potential, then only they can enhance their experience, then only they can move to the third stage, that is leadership. Then only we can achieve an inclusive growth and inclusive society. So let us discuss more about STEM, its importance, and the role of women from the UPSC mains point of view. So what is meant by STEM? STEM refers to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These disciplines are very important for the development of modern societies, because it is important for national development, research in other fields, industrial progress, and also enhancing a country's capability in global competition. And moving to the detail of the importance, first one it is the STEM ensures economic growth and innovation. For example, like I mentioned in the previous slide, it drives development, it generates growth, at the same time it creates employment opportunity and enhances India's or other countries ability in global competition. For example, the USA, China, and Germany. US, China, and Germany, these 3 countries are known for STEM related growth. For example, USA and China, they are known for manufacturing, they are known for semiconductor, they are also known for their significant growth and development in the field of defense. Like that, Germany, they are known for automobiles and skill development and future readiness, because the STEM education enhances critical thinking, problem solving capacity, analytical skills for individuals. This is very essential to address the future challenges such as climate change, healthcare, and digital transformation. Not only here, even in the public policy and even in the administration also, the following skills, that is critical thinking, problem solving, and analytical skills, plays a very important role. So some of you have heard about the platform called I Got Karma Yogi, right? It is launched by the government of India to enhance the potential of the civil servants. And you can see that this program gives importance to all these skills, that includes critical thinking, problem solving, analytical skills, because it plays an important role in disaster management, at the same time also for achieving long-term goals such as climate change and national security and infrastructure. So STEM enhances the defense, space, cyber security, and also it contributes to development projects such as smart cities and sustainable energy. And then the STEM plays an important role in addressing global challenges and ensuring sustainability. For example, it plays an important role in clean energy, sustainable agriculture practices, public health, and we can also see that the STEM subjects are aligning with the ambitions or the goals of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. That includes addressing climate change, creating economic growth, and at the same time gender equality, and innovation and poverty reduction, etc. Moving to the challenges in the STEM, the first one is gender disparity, because in the beginning we said that there is an improvement in the female enrollment in the education institutions, but still in the field of STEM there is a underrepresentation of women. That is, in the case of India, it is less than 30%, and this is due to a lot of factors including societal norms, lack of role models, or limited infrastructure. So if you read the news article from the Indian Express, you can see that the enrollment, or the increase in the enrollment of the female students to institutions, not only changed the the policies, but it also changed the ambience of the institutions. For example, it changed the infrastructure, it changed the the sanitation facilities, it changed the hostel facilities, it changed the other basic infrastructure in the institution. So the increase in the female enrollment brought significant changes in the ambience of the institutions, of the education institutions. But if you come to the working place, there women are facing a lot of problems. For example, some of you might have heard about the term called glass ceiling. It is a term coined by Merlin. It is a term coined by Merlin Lorden in 1970s. So glass ceiling, it is a metaphor used to refer a virtual or invisible barrier that prevents people from advancing in their career or their life. For example, in the case of women, you can see that if a company is collapsing, the company chairperson sometimes will appoint women as a CEO, and after the collapse of the company, they will put the blame on that women. So these kind of exploitations are still happening in different parts of the world. And the next is brain drain. So this is another major challenge that we have in the STEM field. For example, due to the better opportunities in the other parts of the world, or due to further enhancement of the skill, or due to lack of availability of the opportunities within the country, the people with a high skill and knowledge in the field of STEM has a tendency to migrate to other parts of the world. So this will result in brain drain. Recently, the state of Kerala witnessed a significant loss of children due to lack of infrastructure in the college premises and all. And then access and equity. For example, if you take the IITs, most of the IITs are located in major cities like Chennai, Guwahati, Bombay, etc. So this is limiting the accessibility to the STEM education to the major cities. So that's why the people from remote areas or marginalized communities are not able to access the STEM education or STEM courses properly. And at the same time, we can also see the lack disparities due to the lack of infrastructure. For example, digital divide. Even if you want to access the education through online, the rural areas or the remote areas are lacking the internet connection, and lack of digital tools and laboratory facilities, because we have to put your, because most of the science, technology, engineering and mathematics, these are the areas with a huge role of practical examination. So for that you need laboratories, but if you don't have laboratories, then you will be lacking the practical knowledge, which will affect your skill eventually. So this kind of lack of infrastructure will also limit the people from accessing the STEM education. And finally, curriculum and the industrial gap. So at present, the STEM education are mostly focusing on theoretical area. So they need to practice, like I mentioned in the previous point, the disciplines in the STEM, they need more practical classes, and they need more applications. But due to the lack of facilities like laboratories and all, still in India we are focusing more on theory. So this will affect the skill of the students also. Therefore, this will result in a mismatch between the industrial need and the knowledge of the student, and eventually the net result will be meaningless. That means they will not be placed adequately to employment based on their knowledge, because of this skill mismatch between the knowledge and the skill mismatch between the person and the industrial need. And coming to the next topic, that is the government initiatives to promote STEM education in India. The first one is the National Education Policy 2020. This is emphasizing multidisciplinary education, and particularly promoting the STEM education from the early age. And it is also focusing on emerging areas such as coding, robotics, experimental learning, etc. And another objective of this National Education Policy 2020 is to increase the public investment on education education to 6% of the GDP. And next we have the Atal Innovation Mission. This mission is promoting the establishment of Atal tinkering labs, because we, like I mentioned, you should have an opportunity or you should have a space to put your knowledge into application or practice. So this Atal tinkering labs will provide that opportunity. At present in India, we have established more than 10,000 Atal tinkering laboratories. It is benefiting more than 1.1 crore STEM students. And we also have the Atal incubation centers, and at present we have more than 72 Atal incubation centers across India, which is supporting overall 3,000 plus startups in India. And out of the 3,000, more than 1,000 are supported by women. This is expected to create more than 32,000 jobs. And the next initiative is Supernumerary Quota. This was implemented in the year 2018, and followed by that, we saw a significant enrollment in the female students in the higher educations, right? And what is this Supernumerary Quota? This is launched in 2018, and it is aiming to increase the exclusive seats for women without reducing the seats for men. And then we have the program called Inspire. This program is aiming to attract youth people to science and research through providing proper scholarship and mentorship. And then we have the Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan, or RAA. Its objective is to strengthen the STEM education in the rural areas as well as in the backward areas, because just now we discussed one of the challenges faced by the STEM education is the limited accessibility, and this program is aiming to tackle that challenge. And this program is targeting the students between the age of 6 to 18. So it is, you can see that it is also fulfilling the DPSP Article 51A, that is the state's effort to increase the scientific knowledge in the citizens. So this scheme plays a very important role in for a long-term development. And the scheme is implemented through convergence of various schemes such as Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. Coming to the women in STEM education, still there are certain challenges. Like I mentioned, we have to address that they are reaching proper employment. At the same time, still we have to address certain gap in the education. For example, according to the All India survey on higher education, so out of if you according to the All India survey on higher education, the female engineering students are comparatively less than the male engineering students. And we also have to take measures to address a lot of issues such as providing proper mentorship, scholarship, and enhancing or framing in gender neutral policies. And we have to teach the female regarding work-life balance. And we also have to go for awareness campaigns, because we know that the societal norms are the one of the factors that is preventing the female from going work or getting higher education. So we have to tackle such problems too. And then we have to take coming to the way forward. So what can be done to make this STEM program or this progress sustain? First one is curriculum. That is, we have to give more importance to practical research skills, and at the same time we have to give more industrial exposure, because then only the students will know what the industry actually needs. So otherwise there will be a mismatch between the skill a person has, the skill the industry demands. And then going for inclusive infrastructure, because just now we mentioned that the enrollment of women has changed the college or the institutional ambience too. Therefore we have to ensure the safety and of the women in the campuses, hostels, and in the workspace. So they should have they should have an opportunity to work without any kind of discrimination due to the facilities in the institutions or in the workplace. So we have to ensure that the infrastructure development in the institution is inclusive. And then public private partnership, this is very important in addressing problems like a skill gap, and also plays an important role in fostering innovation. And then global collaboration, this can be attained through a research partnership with universities in other countries, and also through students exchange programs. And then finally aligning the STEM program with the national priority projects. For example, we can align the STEM projects with the sustainable development goals of the nation. So like that, we can make the STEM program sustainable for a very long time. And in this topic, we discussed the increase in the female enrollment in the higher education and how it is changing the higher education ambience, and what are the challenges associated with this. And then we discussed the importance of STEM and the challenges faced by the STEM. And then we also saw the way forward. And based on our discussion, try to answer this mains practice question. The question is, women workforce in IIT along with the STEM innovation is a road to gender equality and equity. Discuss. So try to answer this question and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. With this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's editorial analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button, give your feedbacks as comments, and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time update from Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you. Have a nice day.